would like to talk about fasting and food and how people can be lost in this new way of thinking. You will find people fasting and telling people they should be fasting, and you'll have people saying you should be eating more. Where did your energy come from? But what I want to do is just put some light on both sides. Both sides have a responsibility, and you are the responsibility. You are the organ. Okay? So I want to give you the double-edged sword. Okay? So both sides, they go to one point. Now with this, knowing this, it's all about creating an environment which can serve you. So you find your information, you find your own experiences, you find your holistic way of looking into things, you do. So I'm not going to preach. I never do preach. I just try to get you to see both sides. So I'm going to give you the reasons why food is good, and then I'm going to give you the reasons why fasting is good. Just simple. So the reason why food is good, the main reason that food is good, on a level of inner standing, is that food is great, okay, for detachment of responsibility. Detachment from responsibility. Food is fuel, whether it is drink or food, solid. I want you to see it as a detachment from responsibility. We live in a society where we're working 8 hours a day to enjoy 4 hours. So if you're grafting for 8 hours, you want to have a break. And that's your responsibility, you see? Your responsibility is your work. Whether you're working on yourself or working for other people, whatever it is, your responsibility is your work. And at this point in time, food has been specifically created for you to become detached from that responsibility, to have a rest, to feel heaven inside of you again, to feel whole again, to go back into the same situation you were in. Detach. How many times have you been thinking about doing something and you've been going over it for about a good 3-4 hours, and you've been trying to do it, whatever it was a challenge for you to do, and then when you have a break from your responsibility to find that challenge out, you have something to eat, and you end up chatting to people, and then you find the answer. You detached yourself from responsibility. And what made you what drove you to that? What drove you to find out the answer? The food. Of course the food. Because you're detaching from the responsibility. Me, I'd be working in the field all day, growing my crops, and my partner might be making food for me, and she would call me in, and I could have been grafting for 4 hours, and I could have been getting tired. I could make a mistake and hurt myself. She calls me in, says come down and sit. I come down and sit, and guess what? Everyone around my table, I have 5 children, and my partner. They've all got their own responsibilities to do in the house, but they've all detached themselves to come and sit with me, and I to sit with them. It's called detachment from your responsibility to sit with each other. So food as an energy source pulls you back together, because food is dense. You are dense. The food is dense. The food has the mother and the father. It's got the spirit and the soul in it. And it's got the physicalness, same as you. Put on the table, it's gravity. Pulls you in together. Pulls you away from your responsibility. Because you don't want to be responsible all the time. You will burn out. So, the fact of food, the process of food, the programming of food is actually to give you a break. That's why there's abundance of it. You have bad choices of food. This is correct. But in your timeline of your life, you will go through stages where you be more holistic with your choice. Which one serves you? You will start to question what you've been taught. It's your life. It's your life. So, if you look at it as an energy exchange, if there was water filled up in a container and I hit it at the side, we've all seen this. You see how the water moves, how it bounces in and bounces back out, bounces in and bounces back out, bounces in, bounces back out. No restrictions, nothing in its way. It's able just to be free. All the molecules can talk to the other molecules and move. Water is a great conductor of electricity. I've said to you before, you have an electrical body with a magnet heart that keeps you in this countless space. It keeps you here. It pulses, and when it pulses, it brings you into this reality and then takes you out of this reality, into this reality, out of this reality. And your liquid consciousness is your blood. So, food and choices is very key. If, for example, I started to throw stones in that water container where the water gets bouncing back and forth, it won't take long until them stones build up so high they stop the water from moving, or they disrupt the signal that I've been sending it. And then I could throw in some cardboard and it soaks up the water. Okay, so it has its own, because remember, cardboard wants to go and be recycled. So like when you throw cardboard in, as soon as it gets the water sucks it in. It starts to break it down. So now, for example, when I'm hitting it, there's no freedom of movement. There's no freedom of energy. You gave up your space. Now I would be using a round container which represents the cell, your cells in your body, and it's full of stones and cardboard. You see? So there's bad choices you could do. You are an antenna. So when frequencies are played to you and you got density inside of you, what happens is the frequency can't penetrate. You can't be more yourself. And this is where you become more holistic, a way of thinking. I feel dense, I feel heavy, I don't feel light, I feel tired. Although you might have had detachment from responsibility, what you've done then is you ended up becoming more heavy. And it was great to spend some time with your daughter. It was great. But how long do you want to spend with your daughter? How many more years do you want? Do you want to stay dense? So, food is great because you're able to bring people together with food. Choosing the right food is key. Massively key. And it's a journey for everyone. So on the pros, before I go into fasting, the pros of food is detachment from responsibility. And that's why we've got it. We are slaving in this world to bring heaven on earth. You are the angel, the clipped-winged angel. You are the sun. You are the Trinity. When you walk in your garden, you radiate. It's energy exchange. Energy exchange. You are the fertilizer. You are the hand of God. You can create. You can sow your seeds. No other animals can do that sort of stuff that you can do. You can control the environment for it to grow. You have thoughts, you can action them. So it's to teach you to be like a nursery and nurse your food with the mother and the father. You're the only one who can pick up that watering can and feed a dying plant. Animals can't. You can. So it's all about energy exchange with the food. Being in the presence of each other. Being in the presence of each other. That and you. And then when you start to advance this is where the breatharian comes in, right? So what happens is that once you start clearing your vessel and you become lighter and you understand about detachment, you start detaching yourself from the world. Not just from responsibility, from the world, and how the world is trying to push you. You then start to realize that water is emotional. It's the female. And water has memory. And then you start to realize that your urine, your golden urine, is the watering can. And then you start to realize you have a fertilizer system. So if you eat the seed and it goes through the body, you are the farm. That seed will go through and grab all your DNA, and as it comes out, it's got fertilizer with it. You have it all with you. You are the whole thing. And you're able to think consciously with that thought while you're doing that process. Hand of God, you are it. So as you start to advance this and you start to work out about detachment and you start to choose different foods, you then create a space for the Father to work with you. And the Father will work with you if you create the environment for Him to come through. And what this means is, it just simply means you create space, because He lives in space. He lives inside of you. Stuff works inside of you. It doesn't go on the outside in, it goes on the inside out. That's where you radiate, that's why I can see you. So when you're fasting, what you're actually doing is shrinking. You're shrinking this density inside of you, and you're creating space to let the cells breathe. And when the cells breathe, you can be yourself more, because you're letting the Father come in. The Father's coming in now. So rather than shouting at the Father, having a go at the Father, saying, where are you? Why has this happened to me? He can only work inside of you out. So you create this awareness, and you can detach yourself from the world now. Not just responsibility, from the world. You can detach yourself. And what you do then, you bring in this other energy which tells you it's okay. You've let me in. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to yourselves. Let me give yourselves a breath. So fasting is key, but only when it serves you. The pros of food is detaching yourself from responsibilities. Being with loved ones, finding solutions. And then, when you find the solutions and you give yourself rest, and you start choosing the correct food, then you're able to use your hands and your whole system to create food. And then once you've created food, you then start to give more energy from away the world. You want to come away from the world. Break away. Because you're advancing. And as you upgrade in this way of thinking, there's other protocols that you have to do. Because there's more emotions which will be attached to your tissues. Because your issues are in your tissues. Because it is you. And when you go for a workout, you're working out diseases. At ease, soldier. So when you fast, you're giving yourself breathing space to breathe, the calm. Let him in. And as you are willing to let him in, it's all about stretching. It's always about stretching the body out. And remember what I say before? Christ, he gives you a rope. He gives you a rope. And your rope is like your veins and your little vessels. Okay? And then little ropes go all the way down because you haven't got so much density food inside of you. When I hit that water, it will vibrate and go all the way through you. Because wherever that water is, you're going to go down them little vessels, the smallest one of them all, and it will fill it with water and breath. Liquid consciousness going everywhere. That's why you're stretching out. Stretching the light. Becoming the light. Any blockages. Car accident happens, what do? You tense up. Your cells will remember the tensing up. And your cells reprogram themselves every year. So next year, them cells have never experienced that car accident. But they will remember it. And they will hold on to it. Because when the old cell tells the new cell, we'll tell it. That's why you've got to stretch out and reset yourself. So what the fasting is, the process of fasting, is to stretch this out. Stretch out. Let the air and light inside of you, the breath, let the liquid get to all the spaces inside of your body. Not one is incorrect. The only time it's incorrect is when you start eating things which doesn't even know what it is. How can you make a decision if you're eating things that don't even know what it is? A mango is a mango. Whole fruits and whole foods are it. They know what they are. And it teaches you to remember who you are. So it's all about the choices. If I pick up something and has loads of ingredients in it, how can I make a decision in my life? If my body is dealing with things it doesn't even know what it is. Too many ingredients, too many people talking to you. Detach yourself in two very good ways. One, enjoy the correct food, energy exchange. Two, create a space. Create space. Because you will find when you create your space, you won't be so hungry. But remember, detach yourself from responsibility is key, because you are working hard and you are trying to find your way home. You're trying to be harvest. You can harvest yourself. You can become Jesus Christ. You've got the ability. Just understand the energy. Understand the frequency that goes through your body. Fasting and eating, they both serve a purpose. Anyway, I love you and enjoy it. Just before I go, there is a fast coming up when the earth changes energy. Give it a go. Even if you fast till 4 o'clock, okay, intermittent fasting, give it a go. Eat some good food before. Me and my partner, we will fast on the 21st for 3 days, water fast, distilled water. But before that, we will juice fast for 3 days. Anyone with children, like I said, I got 5 of them. Anyone with children, all you can do at the moment is just guide them. Just make sure you got the correct food, Make sure you got the correct food, but guide them. You can just teach them. We have cake, vegan cake, you know, like, and I know there's a lot of ingredients in that, but when it comes to fasting and detachment, you have to understand you've got to walk on the water. We have all programs inside of us, and we have nurture inside of it. You've got nature inside of you. So you can do it, but it's a process of teaching everyone around you. Create the environment that you want to live in. You can't do it overnight. It's a slow process. But when you get it right, you become the environment. You have your environment that you wanted. So, my children, they eat loads and loads of fruit. So, like I'd say 70% of their life they eat fruit. You know, and then if they have pasta, it's a pasta which is not the kind of pasta you get in the shop, but it's different kind of pasta. But they would have started on pasta, and then you process them in a different way that they're not even realizing. But you also put other stuff in it. So you've got Irish sea moss. You put that into the pasta sauce that you create. So what you're doing is, it's the two edges. You're teaching them. You're teaching them more than what we were taught. And if you were lucky enough, you were taught much more, but you're just deprogramming stuff. Okay? Teaching the mind to think more responsibly. Teaching the mind to go, look, I'm going to destroy you with my own mind. Because what happens is the ego will take over, and the ego will destroy itself eventually because it wants to know more knowledge. And then once it destroys itself, it's gone. It's gone. Just see if you can fast near the 21st, the best you can. But enjoy yourself before that. Be in your family, sit down, family values, detach yourself from responsibility, enjoy the food of whole. Love you. Stretch out. Take care. Bye-bye.